No, I think the event itself is very interesting. The fact that you have so many companies here and from so many countries. I didn't know, for instance, there's much startups in Iran. Apparently it is a very lively environment and it's very much linked to Turkey. I've been a bit to the countries like Kazakhstan, you might say the former Ottoman Empire. They're all looking at Turkey for leadership in this sort of thing. So I think as in Turkey you can play a big role, and this is actually proving that I'm right with this assumption. Having said that, there are many companies that are in the app sphere. Of course we got a tsunami with new apps for the mobile phones. Only few will be major hits. There will be many with a niche. I'm not sure whether there's any major hit in between it. I picked out two companies that I thought are interesting. One is Breeze. They have sensors to measure air quality, which I think is an issue that's coming up very much. At least you should be able to sell a lot to China and to Beijing, but also to Delhi. And there's one that is called Money VO on microloans, which I think is also interesting because this whole financing system with angels will be replaced by a much more versatile model, and I think crowdsourcing and microloans will be part of that. The startup scene in Turkey. Well, I've been here for the past 10 years. I come about 5 times a year, so it has developed enormously in this period. So that's a good thing. The bad thing is, I think the angel financing, venture capital is not mature, and that is what is lacking. You have a lot of people with ideas, as you can see here. They know how to present themselves, and that's fine. But the financial part is lagging behind. And a second thing is that this is about Startup Istanbul. I hope that the next event will be called Scale Up Istanbul. We know now very well how to start up companies. You know, you can teach students and so on. But the secret to success is scaling up. And why is Silicon Valley so successful? It's not because they're good at startups, because you're just as good in startups as they are. Money is all over the world. That's not the issue. They are good in scaling up. So I think we need to pay more attention to scaling up and perhaps less on startup. Well, I did a book called Towards the Third Generation University, and it describes a model of a university that's totally different from the still very much existing type of university, and which is much more interactive in society, also commercializing its knowledge. Traditional universities are not interested in commercializing. They get their money from the state, so why should they bother? Now they're very active, collaborating with companies and so on. You see them teaching in English. They're cosmopolitan. In my home university in Holland, 60% of the first year students are not Dutch. So we have 2 mosques on the site, although it's basically a Christian country. So it becomes all very different. Now that book came out some 5 years ago and it's already obsolete. And this is because of the impact of artificial on learning. This is going to be, in my view, the next big issue. We have these open online courses, the MOOCs as they call them, massive open online courses, which is a good thing, but it's very primitive. Later, I mean, you can put a book in PDF on the web and then people in Timbuktu and wherever can read it, which is a good thing, but it's not the same as having a book in your hand and read it. So I think artificial intelligence will change that. And if I see these new universities with all their beautiful classrooms, you know, it's already obsolete when it's ready. You can do much more by online, and then of course, if you're a student, you have to do a master thesis. You can't be coached by a computer, that's obvious. So I think a university will have a network of good coaches, maybe all over the country, and say, okay, if you want to do a master thesis on that particular subject in that particular city, we link you up with Mr. or Mrs. such and so. So the future university will be a big computer with online courses, plus a network of coaches, and some, of course, for chemistry you need laboratories, for doctors you need a hospital and so on. So you will need some facilities. But maybe the future universities are only, I don't know, quarter of the size or less as what they are now.